Yeah, looks like you ordered an espresso.
Where's my notebook?
Now, okay, that's it.
Robert, how are you?
Mary, this is our agenda, just these three items, right? 7:45.
Surprise.
Just wait a moment for Richard.
Yeah.
Okay, so in order to
Once it said silence is gold.
So,
Yeah.
Go ahead, you don't.
What does that do to you? Yeah.
It zooms in and zooms out.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how you look out. And it's, and you just look and find a shot from there.
So now,
So you're actually on it. You're on it.
yeah.
That'd be it for you. Is he here, Mike?
yeah, he was upstairs, there was someone in with
You
him.
don't have to just stay on the
Yeah,
shot.
ask him if he's on his way.
Keep moving around.
Yeah.
Get moving.
He's on his way down.
Okay.
Watching Tom at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel comfortable.
I like the one out in the auditorium, it's never right.
I think that's a perfect spot. Think you think it's too late to go home? Bad weather ahead, George. Bad weather ahead.
Bad weather ahead? Mr. Champagne.
Set,
Yeah.
yeah, set all kinds of records tomorrow and Friday.
Yeah.
I can't stand this. I can't stand it.
Go up and dredge out Coxall Pond.
There you go. They're doing that now. They have a site.
Right, yeah.
Going fishing in 2 weeks, Sheriff.
Are you? Where you going? Where?
Man.
Are you?
Yeah.
Whereabouts?
Sebago area.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's too
All right.
short.
How are you?
Oh, thank you.
We're all set?
Hi, Mary, how are you?
All set? Bob? Don, all set?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mary, you all set? Okay,
Fire.
all right. Charlie, you all set?
All set.
All set. Good evening. I'd like to open up weekly meeting, Clinton Board of Selectmen for June 26th at 7:04 PM. I'd like to first start off as clerk of the board. I'll be acting chairman this evening. Our chairman, Mr. Coyne, had a doctor's appointment and won't be present this evening, so I will be chairing the meeting. I'd like to welcome back cable to live coverage. We missed you after the last couple of weeks. And send our appreciation to all the volunteers that showed up for their training course so that you could join us each and every week. And just a note to the people watching at home, we have started our summer schedule for the Selectmen's meeting. So starting tonight, we will be every other Wednesday, so next week we won't meet, and so on throughout the summer. And before we get started, I'd like to send congratulations and good wishes to Richard Montori from the Board of Selectmen on the birth of his first child, baby boy, Michael Joseph Montori. Congratulations, Richard. So we'll get started. Our first order of business, reading of our past meetings minutes from our past meeting, and I'd like to ask the board if we could postpone those tonight, seeing we're 2 members shy, and if we could just dispense with the acceptance and reading of the minutes until our next meeting, if that's okay with my other members. Okay. Make a motion.
I'll second that.
Motion made by Mr. Champagne to dispense with acceptance of the minutes, seconded by Mr. Bates. All in favor? Aye. Our first agenda item, we have Carl Struntz coming before the board to discuss application for earth removal permit for South Middle Road. Mr. Struntz, if you'd like to come up and approach the board, if you want to bring your chair, you're welcome to sit and stand.
It is a drawing of the area, has the elevations and all of it. Some more drawing.
You have to have them.
I know,
Where is South Middle Road on this?
right here.
It goes in that white blob and then goes toward the east.
We originally had another plan that was going to involve, it was about 20 houses.
Oh, I see.
I'm revising just for one house.
Look at it this way. This is something down here, right? Is that right?
This got some lines after that part, this Quinton's right up here.
Yeah. You're following the road grade, right?
Yeah. That's what we're doing. A little more detail of what we intend to do with it.
You're gonna put a few lots up there?
One.
One lot?
That's enough.
Guess my other question right now would be, has this been presented to the planning board? Have they approved it already?
No, they told me to come see you people.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, they had nothing to do with it. They have copies of this already, so there's no problem with that.
Now, are these copies, so you know, with the board?
Yeah, only with you
Okay,
people.
thank you.
And that's, you also got the fire chief, conservation division, and the board of health.
Yeah.
A copy for all of them.
Now, someone may be able to answer this, has Town of Clinton ever granted earth removal permit in the past?
We did remove up there years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is probably grandfathered, right? I remember years ago, his father, he takes some little like.
Board,
Yeah.
Is there gonna be any grading or?
No, the way the land is now, it's not worth anything. The timber on it is useless. I've checked with the state.
Scrub pine and stuff?
Yeah, so what I want to do is level it out, straighten it out, and replant it, reseed it, put it in the house.
Now, is there gonna be any excavation or anything done?
There's gonna be
100 feet?
excavation,
No,
yes.
wait a minute. Within 100 feet of the pond?
No, this is, you notice here, the buffer zone, that we're in, here's your buffer zone.
Okay,
See all our grades to this side.
and you'll have a private sewer system and your own well?
Yeah, I don't think the town has any water either.
just on South Meadow Road, that's all.
Yeah, but
Then you'd have
that's
to
not
come through
Columbus.
Lancaster.
That's not Columbus,
No.
that's Lancaster and Leominster.
Leominster, really.
Where exactly the site? Where?
You know where the tension lines are?
You know where Copper Dam is? Copper Dam is over here somewhere. And this is right at the edge of town.
You know where
Jack
the-
Bowles lives is there.
You know where the tension lines are? Go right up underneath there. That's where he wants to open up in the back of the tension.
Yep.
That's the way I get it from what I see. I certainly don't see here. One house.
It's gonna be one house.
So it's laid out for right now.
What's the grade of the property as?
The
of right
elevations
now?
are all on the drawing.
That doesn't help you. So I mean, is it sloped
Yeah,
or?
you're right here.
I can show. Where's the road here?
This is where it comes in, starting, yeah.
Okay.
This is Lancaster here,
See,
like,
see 355 right here is 365, and then they keep going 370, 363, just sloping it down, cutting it down as you go. And when you get up in here, you're at 355, 360, 375, 350, 340. It's just more or less.
11 out.
The butters in Lancaster, is that
Get
right
all
here?
there was, yeah, Putnam, Lancaster.
There was no, they didn't complain or anything, they didn't.
Who knows?
How much material do you think will be removed?
Probably around 50,000.
Yards. 1,000 yards.
Yeah. That's including the, and Lancaster too.
You need two separate permits?
Yep. Can't get it wrong. Gotta do it the hard way.
Well, Carol, I certainly don't see.
All right, we haven't got any letters or any complaints or anything from anybody objecting to any of this? What?
We have to have a hearing on it
Right.
I would imagine you.
though. 21 days. Notice, yeah. I know that, we have to check with the building inspector.
No, well, we should.
So we're just going to accept this proposal and then we can set up a timeline. And
Yep.
I'd like to maybe take a look at it with the other members, take a ride by the site.
Oh, you
set
should,
up-
you should.
Set up a hearing date. Okay,
No, I have these others, no, I'm supposed to have one for Mr. Gilmore,
okay.
one for the Clinton Fire Chief, all right, the Conservation Commission, and the Board of Health.
Good.
And they all got one.
Distribute, distribute and solicit their, solicit their input from all boards. And this is ours here.
I think it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing.
No, we're
Bring
working
some
on
more
a
revenue
rubbish.
into the town, and soil industry. Put some people to work.
They all wait till I hear from them.
Yes, thank you. We'll be in touch.
See ya.
Thanks.
Thanks, Carol. Pleasure seeing you again.
Neighbor.
That's neighbor.
Right on schedule, 7:15. Next agenda item is opening of bids for sidewalk at Spruce Street, Long Edge Road. So, we'll do the two separate.
This is a bid from J.R. Grady and Son, and it's a sidewalk. Mr. Chairman, J.R. Grady and Sons, 56 Flag Street, Clinton, Mass. Dear sir, the following is our estimate for paving a sidewalk on 587 Spruce Street, 5 and 7, Spruce Street. The area of 94 feet by 7 feet will be excavated and regraded with gravel and paved with 2-inch binder and 1-inch top coat, for the sum of $1,080. Here we are. Mr. Chairman, I have here a bid from Kilcoyne Brothers, Board of Selectmen Town Hall, paving sidewalk, Spruce Street, 94 by 7, the sum of $1,021. Chairman, I have here a bid from J.I. Grady and Sons, 56 Flag Street, Clinton. Dear sir, the following is our estimate for an asphalt sidewalk at Mr. John Druven, Long Edge Road, Clinton, Mass. 100 feet by 5 feet, 1 inch of top asphalt. $390 respectively, submitted by J.I. Grady and Sons by Michael Grady. We also have a bid from Kilcoyne Brothers for Long Edge Road, 105 by 5, for the price of $289, submitted by John Kilcoyne. Kilcoyne Brothers. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion this time we take the bids under advisement. Mr. Gilmore?
I'll second that motion.
Motion's been made and seconded, made by Mr. Bates, seconded by Mr. Champagne, that we send these bids for review by Superintendent, Department of Public Works, Mr. Gilmore, for his recommendation. All in favor? Aye. Unanimous. Now, as being ahead of schedule, we have an attorney for Tennessee Gas coming at 7:30, but I don't see him here. As
He
of
was
yet.
here early.
Was he?
Oh, take the others, right? Finish the others.
Yeah, well, we could wait and see if he's here first. And if not, we can move into the packet, mostly information on the packet anyways.
Request for the closing.
First, see if he's here and take him and move him on if he's available.
Cable for commercial.
Do you have any sponsors?
We have a couple.
Run out, take the music.
That's right.
What is that anyway in the back?
Parks and Rec are having a concert every Wednesday night.
What kind of concert is that?
Different groups.
Mr. Potter?
No, Harry, Attorney Potter's a little late, he's probably on his way.
Oh,
He
okay.
comes out of Boston and he probably ran into some traffic.
Okay.
I'm Ted Gorman, I'm a right-of-way agent with Tennessee Gas Pipeline.
Mhm.
I work out of the Hopkinton office, and I was before your board back in April with Mr. Potter. What we're looking to do is the overall project begins in Bolton. It's 3.5 miles long. We're gonna take an existing 4-inch pipeline out of the ground and replace it with an 8-inch pipeline. There's approximately 1.5 miles of pipeline within the town of Clinton, and out of that 1.5 miles, 1,100 feet of it is owned by the town of Clinton. And we will be seeking a right-of-way agreement from the town of Clinton upon approval of our article for your special town meeting. That's basically what we're pursuing.
As was indicated, this is a project was on town meeting. For lack of a quorum, a town meeting was suspended, and now there's a warrant article back for a special town meeting July 8th to grant the easement, working easement to cross town property. Open up to any questions that board members. Mr. Champagne's new, wasn't here when you presented your proposal earlier in the year, so if he has any questions.
Do you have a map of what you're going to be digging? And
And for your town meeting, we will have an overhead. We'll bring an overhead projector. This is the ballpark and athletic complex coming off of Wall Street. In parallel to the railroad tracks.
now you'll be going under Water Street.
Yes. We'll be seeking town permits for highway department.
Road opening.
Basically, what the article is gonna do, Mr. Champagne, is gonna allow your board to negotiate with my company for the additional easement required to operate and maintain that business. That's basically what the article is
Now, this certainly isn't the mileage that you mentioned that comes through.
doing. That's 1,100 feet on town property.
Okay, but that's the only
That's basically
land on
all,
property?
yes,
Town property?
for the town, correct, yes.
Oh,
We will, later this year, we will send agents into the field to negotiate with individual property owners along the route, the entire route.
Tennessee Gas has to go with each person that owns every piece of land along the route to individually negotiate, but this is pipe that's existing on town land, which we want to upgrade, which we would have to deal with.
You wouldn't be blocking off Water Street, you could just block off maybe one lane so that the other lane could pass.
I'm not, that's normally the procedure. They also have a procedure where they can bore the road if it's highly traveled.
That
I'm
would
not sure.
certainly be the best way out.
That would be something they can work out with the highway superintendent.
It's a busy road.
Yeah, we'll have engineers before various boards to work out the deals, individual deals with wetlands, and also with, the highway superintendent and police department, whatever. And just for your information, there's a siting council hearing, and I'm sure you've probably seen it in the paper, on July 9th. It's going to be held over in Bolton, and they'll put on a full-blown display of the whole project at that time, and they'll answer any types of questions you can. That's conducted by a state agency.
This attorney here.
Yes.
Welcome.
I thought it was 7:30.
Town meeting is,
You were right.
we're a
It
little
is.
bit running
It is.
out. We're ahead of schedule.
Okay. Okay, well, that's
Just,
He's
fine.
done a good job, so
He doesn't need an attorney.
he's done an excellent job.
We've just had a briefing, and now we're going to open for questions. And also, I want the opportunity at each agenda item, I did mention earlier, for anyone from the public that has a question, and Mr. Winship has something to let.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I understand through the legal notices published in the local newspaper tonight that this line will go under Lancaster Road, 10th Street, Mount View Road, which are all public ways in the town of Concord, which is sometime will have to be opened up, I believe.
Yes, that's correct. And there again, we will at that point in time be dealing through the permit process with your local highway department.
Because I was wondering how long the roads would be opened up, how long it'd take them before they...
They usually do a road crossing a day.
In one day.
And they make every attempt possible not to stop complete traffic flow across the.
They have their necessary plates and everything. They can
Correct.
dig halfway, put the
That's right.
plates down, and,
That's
yeah,
right.
it's
If it's a
good
heavily,
operation.
heavily traveled road, that's what they do.
Or they bore.
And as we were saying, and when that point comes on, we have a road opening permit, which we issue for any standard road openings. This would fall under that process as opposed to permanent easement as you're
That's
looking for
correct.
across
That's
the.
what they do.
So you return the roads to the same condition or better?
Correct.
than you did.
That's right.
Any further questions? Okay, I think we're
They certainly
very well satisfied, and the article is drafted and on the warrant for town meeting.
It'll be on July 9th.
July
Eighth.
8th, I believe. Yeah.
It's on a Monday night.
Okay.
Right.
No, it's July 9th,
It is.
a local informational hearing.
So that's the,
Well, that's
That's the
the,
one that's
That's
voted.
hearing.
that's
So
his.
that's the information. Okay.
Well, also we're gonna have one here in front.
No,
No,
we'll be here for your special
Town meeting,
Oh, for
for
the
the
town.
easement.
All right, yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
for our
That,
easement.
that will cover the whole project,
Right.
Bolton through Lancaster, termination
Okay.
in Clinton.
Right, and as we said, we could again mention this, it's July 9th to be held over in Bolton. What facility?
Neshoba High.
In Neshoba High School, which will allow Tennessee Gas Company to give an overview of their whole project. Is that from beginning to end, or just Massachusetts, or this
That's
region?
from both, that's just this
Just
one
this
pipeline.
region, okay, for this area. Okay, but our town meeting is July 8th, and do your thing there.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good seeing you again.
Okay, nice to see you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you, Matty. It's a smooth meeting going along here. We're again way ahead of schedule, but that is the end of our formal agenda, unless someone comes in at 7:45 that we don't know about.
won't be me.
Yeah. But we could open to a general questions from anyone in the public.
I just noticed, I should have mentioned it while they're here, but we'll find out, so we'll see. Crosses the natural river too in Clinton.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether they went to the Conservation Commission or not.
Oh, I would imagine, Bob, that's a pretty big outfit, they cover all their bases.
Yeah, well, they had problems in the lower part of Worcester County.
Did they?
If we have no other questions from the public, Joe?
I'm here for old business, you want to do some old business?
Well, we could take all that up before we go into the package. Sure.
I'm here on my favorite subject, the health agent account, his expense account. Okay, back in May 22nd, we sent a letter to the town accountant explaining, she wanted how we come up with the figures to pay Mr. Fortuna for the use of his car. I did, like I explained to the Board of Selectmen, gave him a copy of the law, which Joe's written in right here. The Board of Selectmen at that time had no problem with it. It's gone around, and Mrs. Matero sent a letter to town council because she wanted a ruling from him. The town council sent her a letter. I think there'll be a copy for you people in the packet.
Okay.
And when the warrant comes over, here we have all the information there for the board to look at.
Yeah, I've seen it, but I think I know what these letters, and the town solicitor says it is according to law.
And what Mary Ann also wants to know is if the board of selectmen have any more information they want before she processes the voucher. That's all that she's looking for. I think that will end this whole time.
Yes.
Is she looking for us to make a motion to
Yeah.
pay this bill?
Let me go get the
Well,
I make that motion to pay this
Well,
bill and get rid of it.
That's double, I can, quite honestly, that looks like double talk, that last paragraph, okay? Because he goes into the first half, like I showed you, it says right in here, okay, and he quotes it in the letter also, okay? And I talked to the Department of Revenue in Worcester, and I told the gentleman how he did it, and he said, I explained the law to him and everything, he says, you're correct, okay? That's the way that the board has voted on it, and I told him we brought it up at a meeting, we voted on it, it was unanimous. And he said, then there shouldn't be a problem with it. And we feel there isn't a problem, there hadn't been a problem, and we just want to get this matter resolved at the end of the fiscal year. And we'd like to get it squared away. The man's been very, very patient.
sure.
You got this in your budget now, right?
That's correct. It was in our budget, our proposed budget. It was taken out by the Finance Committee. The money went back in at the annual town meeting. Half of it was taken out at the special town meeting. We got it back on the floor again, so it's been approved. You know, the money's still there, and
Or check today, balance is still.
that's right.
There would be,
Just shy of $1,500.
14.99.
Yeah.
1599.
as the town solicitor's opinion reads, as the Board of Health may fix salaries and other compensation for their officers and agents, that ruling gives the Board of Health that authority, and although the last paragraph of the ruling does state that the authority to final review officials is Board of Selectmen. This documentation, this letter from the town solicitor is the first coming across our desk this week. My only suggestion to the other members would be to ask if our chairman and other member could be present to get a consensus. I know, as it's been,
Okay,
you know,
the reason
Board
why
of
I
Health
come up, I
knows-
did not know that you were
Yeah, sure,
down at 3, okay?
sure.
The problem being that you people are on your summer schedule. We're looking at this as the end of the year. We're talking, your next meeting is in 2 weeks, which you're talking is probably the 10th, okay? Now, we also have a letter that states that the bill has to be in by the 11th. You know, we're kind of at the end of the road.
But the bill has been submitted.
Now, what if you do, vouchers are due next Thursday, the next round, the vouchers are due next Thursday. What if we leave in the warrant next week, and the board comes in to sign the warrant, this information with the cover letter for the board to sign off on, and when the board signs off on, then just process it the following Thursday.
Good idea.
So you can't process, even if they sign tonight, you can't process
Okay,
it.
I
Because
just,
the
the
only-
thing is, I was hoping that they were all here. And
Sure,
But
and
they are-
I understand, and I appreciate you coming up
Yeah.
before us. The only
They are-
question that I had is, as you said, it has been a long-standing kind of difference of opinion, and I would just rather have a consensus of the
That's
total
that's
board
the problem I
here.
don't
so that,
understand.
you know.
That letter from this solicitor came in on the 17th, you know, we're talking 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's, I just like to see
We
that
didn't
resolved.
meet last week, so, I mean, I don't blame you, and I want to see resolved too, but I think in order for everyone to be satisfied, I'd rather have all the board agree to it, and your board has already agreed to it, and all selectmen agree to it, and we'll finally get it over with once and for all. So I would hope that it wouldn't be a problem, that we could wait and sign.
Well, if it's gonna be a problem.
I don't see it as any problem. This has been through the town meeting. I remember this from a year ago. It's out there. I don't see any reason to wait. I mean, I'm sure that the other board members go along with this anyway.
But, so then what would be the problem with waiting till it gets to the vouchers and it needs
Well, don't we
the
have to, don't we have
signatures?
to
and-
make a motion to get it on the vouchers, and if it gets on the vouchers and they don't approve it, then that's their option.
The voucher's already been submitted. We have a cover letter agreeing to this payment.
It's on the warrant.
No, it won't be till next week.
It's on the warrant.
So so it won't be until next week's warrant anyways. So if it's signed off on the warrant, then it'll be approved and it goes through.
Okay, so we don't have to make a motion to get it on the warrant?
No, I can do that, put a couple of it together, and leave it in the basket the next Wednesday night when they all come in, and then you sign off on the letter, and you submit it with the rest of your vouchers on Thursdays as you usually do.
As long as he
Long
gets
as the
his
majority
money and
signs
it
it.
doesn't have to go on.
The majority, what, the selectmen?
So we don't have to go
As
through.
long as he gets his money and it don't have to go as an unpaid bill or something.
This is
If
what
the
I
guy did
aggravated
work
about. It
at the
shouldn't be an
end-
unpaid bill. The money is there, it's been approved by the townspeople twice,
Right,
and, you
and he
know,
should get it. No question about it, fine. As long as it don't go for an unpaid bill, that's all I.
This goes back a long ways.
we've been dining and dancing with this all year long.
The town, the people at the town hall floor approved it twice.
Twice. No. Well, I'm just, you know,
I'd appreciate it if we could go that route. That would be, that's what I would be in favor of, going that route and giving everyone an opportunity, and instead of a situation which has been outstanding with our whole board, that action be taken on a night when the full board isn't here. I would prefer to see it wait.
I have no objection as long as this can get on the next warrant. And all the other board members should be here for next Wednesday so they can see it.
They'll see,
And
they'll.
approve the
they'll-
warrant, and that can get paid, if this is the way you want to
They'll
handle it.
see the information.
Okay?
All right, good.
Very
Thank you,
good,
Joe.
thank you.
See you, Joseph.
Anything else, old business you want to deal with before the packet? Yes,
I thought you guys were on a bi-weekly meeting.
we are, but we will have,
They come in to sign the warrant.
We
the
committed
warrant
certain
has to
warrants.
be signed next week, or else there'll be no payment made on any bills if we don't get the warrant signed.
We come in either Tuesday or Wednesday night to sign the warrants. I usually come in
That'll
on
be left,
Tuesday
and
and
they just initial off on it, and that's it.
Okay?
Okay. Anything under new business you'd like to discuss? I think Bob had something he wanted to bring up for the public.
Well, one of the, as I think most of the people in Clinton know, wheat is in financial difficulties due to some $20,000 in cuts that they've received from the state. And I have a little information on wheat. Julie, you can pass it on. But one of the things that was asked of me during this past week was that if I would volunteer to host a telethon that Continental Cablevision has donated their time in an effort to try to raise some funds. They're short, they need $15,000 to continue to operate. So the Wheat is going to hold a telethon on Channel 30 on Friday, July 12th, from 6 to 9 p.m. I will be hosting it along with John Gibbons Jr., and there will be numerous guests, including the Director of the Chamber of Commerce, Susan Templeton, and Alice Kidder, who's the Director, Father Bob Kelly at St. John's. There'll be numerous people. And also, I would like to solicit the help of our fellow board members here, John and Jim and Mike and John, and to have them also appear with me and ask the people in Clinton to give their support to this very worthwhile cause. I don't know if most people don't realize the number of people that they do help. And it's, the grant money they received in one of the areas for transportation of the elderly and handicapped and so forth out of town is in excess of $70,000. Referrals, they get about a $9,000 grant. If this leaves Clinton, then this type of service would probably have to be had in Fitchburg. And this grant money would also go to Fitchburg. Now, how much benefit the people in Clinton would receive from this if it left this area remains to be seen. We'd like to see if we could possibly raise at least $5,000 to get this on track. There are over 400 businesses being contacted by the Chamber of Commerce and asked Alice Kidder down the week by volunteers. And that particular night, we'd like to have you and phone in your donation or pledge, send your money and help in this effort, which I think is a very worthwhile endeavor because of the number of people that they do hurt and do cover in Clinton. 70% of the people help from the Clinton area. The rest are from Berlin, Sterling, Lancaster, and its volume and magnitude of what they do is unreal. Until last week, I never realized everything they did, and I'm not going to cover it tonight. I just wanted to publicly announce that we're having the telethon, and that hopefully everybody would be receptive to it and try to help us all with it. And again, it's going to be on Friday, July 12th, from 6 to 9 p.m. And Continental Cablevision has graciously volunteered the time, the effort, the hours, and everything else to do with this. That'll be a no-cost to we.
Thanks, Bob. Thanks, Bob.
Very good, Bob.
It's an agency that does do a lot of good in town.
So we'd like to
Okay.
encourage everyone to try to make it to the programmers meeting on Thursday night when we go over that proposal as well. So anyone who is interested in volunteering and helping out with the telethon should try to make it down to the studio Thursday night at
That's
7
tomorrow,
o'clock.
tomorrow night.
All right, 7 o'clock at the
William
Cable
Street.
Vision office on William Street, for anyone interested in helping with the telethon. Thank you. Any other new business? Go into the packet with Mr. Montori. Yeah, laid open. Get them out of the way.
It's those two I just gave you tonight, plus the two that were in your packets.
Okay.
You have to get them all together. I think there's
Okay.
4 in all. 4 or 5.
We have late night openings from Rhythms for Saturday night through the month of July 1991. For Scooby-Doo's, 1 a.m. closing Saturday nights throughout the month of July. And one from Clinton Turner's, same thing, Saturday night, 1 o'clock openings, and the Old Timers, late night, Saturday night, for the month of July. If you want to take these all together,
Sure.
approve them all at once for Old Timer, Clinton Turner's, Rhythms, and Scooby-Doo's.
Mr. Chairman, I so move.
I'll second it, John.
Motion been made by Mr. Bates, seconded by Mr. Champagne. Approve these late night closings, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Unanimous. We have a request for road opening permit from Boston Gas for 53 Richmond Street and number 3 Nelson Street, town of Clinton.
Mr. Chairman, I so move.
I'll second it, Mr. Chairman.
Motion made by Mr. Bates, selected by Mr. Champagne, approve these 2 road openings for Boston Gas, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Unanimous. We also have a request from the Clinton Civil Defense Department, request line item transfer for the sum of $288.60 from the new equipment account to the expense account to cover year-end bills. Respectfully submitted, Richard H. Brown, Civil Defense Director. I'd like to review those.
I did.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I so move.
Yeah, I'll second that. And just under discussion, I just wanted to let you know, I did speak to Mr. Brown concerning this, and these were bills late that he forgot to submit, and the balance was only $20 some more on the account.
Okay, and this is a interdepartmental
Right.
line item transfer, which is money presently in their budget anyways. Motion made by Mr. Bates, seconded by Mr. Champagne to approve transfer for $288.60 for the Clinton Civil Defense. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Next, we're going to information packet. Richard.
I gave a supplemental packet tonight. I had a few informational items on there concerning the public hearing on July 9th for the Tennessee Natural Gas Pipeline. There was a letter concerning any kind of medical exam for one of the employees. There was a letter concerning potential litigation. Someone who was injured on one of the town sidewalks. That would be forwarded to the town's insurance companies. Also, there was a letter from the Clinton Fire Chief, his memorandum. Something that the board wants to discuss tonight. Talk to the full board, sound like it's a request you want looked at immediately.
A letter from Fire Chief Richard J. Hart. I'd like to inform you that I received the attached request for records of the fire department. I've also attached an answer to this request indicating a meeting time for the person making the request to do so. I'd like the opinion of your board and town solicitor in this regards, as the daily roll call sheets are public records, and she may be entitled to them. I believe that the fee charge should be addressed at this time, as this is the time I must take away from other important duties. If she is to review these documents, it will be imperative that such a review be done in my presence as the person responsible for the record. She has indicated that her review should take about 45 minutes, so I have allotted her 1 hour. At the very least, this fee should be my time plus 20% administrative fee, or $21.64. This fee would be in check form payable to the town of Clinton. As you can see, this meeting is set for July 2nd, 1991, so a rapid reply would be appreciated. It's a request. It's a request for fire department records of the fire chief. The fire chief is asking the board for a decision to charge a fee.
Who wants to look at the records?
January 19th.
Doreen McNamara, 7 Highland Avenue, Clinton, submitted a request to the fire chief.
Can you read that?
It just says, I hereby request to review the Clinton Fire Department roll call sheets for the period of January 1, 1988 to December 31, 1989.
Rich, do we, excuse me, Mr. Chairman. Did she state a reason why she wants these records?
I am not
Do you have
involved.
anything?
The chief has dealt directly with this, on this issue, so. As far as I know, this is the request, and why.
Is it a union thing? Is it a split union? Or
It's
should
just-
we have legal advice?
It's just her as a citizen, and a citizen, any citizen has the right to speak out.
But I think as reading the letter, the chief stated that all documents requested are public record, which he doesn't have a problem making available to anyone that asks for it.
Just wants to check the state.
Yeah, he's asking to charge a fee for his time. Just my own personal opinion, I would be opposed to charging any fee. I feel any citizen of the town would have a right to review public documents, whether it's through this office, Board of Selectmen, or through any department here in town. And I wouldn't want to set a precedent for if someone wanted to come up to look through minutes of a meeting for Board of Selectmen or ask for documents from our time, we'd start charging people for Mary O'Brien's time, or Richie's time, or town accountant's time. And I know there's been many people that has asked for different documents on big issues coming through the town hall here, and I wouldn't want to set this precedent in this case.
Right. Mr. Chairman, the only thing I would say, I'm kind of speaking from experience here. I know when I, in the past, have requested information of the board or whatnot, it was always asked, what is your purpose? And I had to let the board know that I wanted to review budgets, or I wanted to see what departments, where I could reduce cost or whatever, but I had to give a reason. I had to state all this, and I think maybe the town's, did you say this town solicitor says that, I think, there is a freedom of information law, and I think it does state something about anything going back for a period of time, and time is involved, but there is fees that can be charged. I'm not sure of it. But I think, can we ask Attorney Connolly on this? Or? I know
I
the
think
chief
you
has
should,
been
but-
very complimentary to this. I mean, he's saying, all right, June 2nd, July 2nd, come on down, and I'll gladly give you this
Well,
information.
I don't think there's a problem with giving the information, and I think if the chief wanted to request why, as was done with you, Bob, I think that would be, through him. All this request is from the chief to approve charging the fee. Whether it can or can't be charged, that's another issue, but I think what's before us right now is, do we want to approve setting up a fee structure for any citizen that wants to request public records from the town? To me, think that's getting into a kind of a overburdensome precedent to me. I mean, as you said yourself, Bob, that you had asked for many records from the town, and if we had asked for her portion of everyone's salary from the person you spoke with, I think it would be
Well, current-
prohibitive for a lot of people
Yeah.
to be access to those records.
So it's just something about current data, but I'm not sure about old data,
Mhm.
because that's usually a little harder to
Mhm.
get. I really think we should, we don't know what the law is. and
Sure.
I think we should ask Attorney Conley about it, and probably just, you know, even if he could provide the information to this board or to Chief Hart before that time, the Freedom of Information law may say $10, it may say $50.
Sure.
It may not say, you know, anything.
And-
But we don't know, and that was,
Yeah,
we
well,
don't make judgment. you know.
Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to looking into it further to see what can and can't be done. I was just stating my personal opinion on, you know,
Also-
whether I would be in favor of a fee for this type of situation. But I wouldn't be opposed to, you know, asking for an opinion whether this is possible or whether $21 is too much or what.
You know, this is a unique situation, I think. Everybody knows that Doreen McNamara is the fire captain's wife and is also our fellow selectman's wife, and so
But
it's,
as I say, I hope that's not held against her. I mean, that she's still a
No,
taxpayer in this
she-
town,
she's a
and
resident.
whether or not a resident taxpayer, I mean, just to speak, I mean, my brother spoke at town meeting, and I hope that they're not gonna hold against him because I'm a selectman, that he can't speak at town meeting, so I don't think that should be an issue here at all. But if we wanna wait and ask for further information, I wouldn't be opposed to that.
I think we definitely should, in as much as we don't know what this is for. What if it's for the union or against it or what? I don't know.
we're in fire department negotiations and anything at the present time, and some arbitrations, so I mean, we don't know if this has something to do with it or not. I would hope it wouldn't, but who knows why, I mean.
I don't think $21 is gonna break the town one way or the other, but
No.
I would like to get the legal end of it.
Can you
Look into that further, yeah, we can look into that.
The next item that I gave you tonight is in line with the request from the building inspector to increase the fees for building in town. The water inspector is also requesting an increase in the fees charged for electrical inspections. Both items, board would like to wait till the full board to review the fees and decide what they'd like to do.
I would prefer, I could read
Yeah, I
the
think
letter.
that'd be appropriate.
Yeah, I could just read the letter, dear sirs, from the building inspector, Richard Friel, attached a proposed change in building permit fees for your review and approval. The present rate is 0.005% of the cost of construction. An increase to $7 per thousand would equal 0.007% of the cost. The building permit is the cheapest part of building a house. If you have any questions on any of these changes, please feel free to contact me. Sincerely, Richard Friel, building inspector, zoning agent. So it's asking for a slight increase in fees. What it comes out to in the total permit, I don't know, but he does have some backup documentation here to go along with it, and I think to give everyone a chance to look through it and maybe talk to Mr. Friel about it, I think it'd be good to wait.
I think we ought to discuss this between the whole board.
Sure.
The examples he gives, they're not really exorbitant increases. He's talking about an average permit fee for a $75,000 house. Right now, it's $375. We go to $525. That's a 0.007% across the house. Right there.
Okay, good. We'll hold off on that.
Also in your supplement tonight will be the breakdown of the school budget as of 6/12/91, just for your information, budget information. There's a proclamation in the packet from the Clinton area Operation Desert Shield Yellow River Support Group. Sign it now, make sure the remaining members sign it.
Proclamation, whereas the Clinton Area Operation Desert Shield Yellow Ribbon Support Group was formed on January 15th, 1991, and whereas the Yellow Ribbon Support Group has been effective in helping all the area Persian Gulf servicemen and women in some way or another, and whereas the Yellow Ribbon Support Group would like to honor all veterans of all wars and conflicts during their parade on July 6th, and whereas the parade is a welcome home for our Persian Gulf veterans and a thank you to all veterans, we, the Clinton Board of Selectmen, wish to proclaim July 6th, 1991, the Yellow Ribbon Welcome Home and Thank You Day to all veterans, and ask all citizens in the town to come forward and join in the festivities. Motion to approve that.
Make a motion that we approve this proclamation. I'm sure the other board members would go definitely. We discussed this previously and said we would.
Right.
So I don't know if that's
I would like to thank all those people that donated to this. But I would also like to see a letter of how much they donated, and so that we could thank them appropriately for their dedication and everything. I do know they have collected money, but to date, I haven't seen anything as to how much is collected or where it's gone. So I think it's appropriate that we find that out and thank the people that did give the money, so that, we know who to thank and who gave.
publicly acknowledged.
We have a motion and second to this. Motion by Mr. Champagne, second by Mr. Bates, to accept this proclamation and make July 6th Welcome Home and Thank You Day for all veterans. All those in favor? Aye. Unanimous. As I say, hope that everyone comes out and sends good wishes to all the veterans.
I know they worked very hard and they're very sincere, but, I mean, people that did give, I think we should acknowledge them ourselves, the board.
Sign this.
Sign.
Sure. Who did the Celtics pick, you know?
Wasn't me, John.
Oh, me neither, I never even got a call.
Some information in the packet on some spraying that mosquito control we'll be doing in town.
I'd like to read off those dates.
They've done a terrific job, those mosquito control people. If it wasn't for them, I don't know where we'd be.
Yeah. I just wanted to make a note for people watching and maybe for the press. Central Mass Mosquito Control Program will be spraying here in town. For the July schedule will be July 1st, July 8th, July 15th, July 22nd, and July 29th. So it's just for people that may be concerned of chemicals and spraying, but you know, it's something that's definitely needed this time of the year. I just wanted to announce that for people that may be concerned about the dates.
They want that published.
Yes,
They
should
want
be
that
published.
Yeah, we can give a copy of this to the press to publish.
Yeah, because there is a statement in anyone that wishes to have their property excluded from the spraying should notify the city town clerk and the CMMP, this group.
Well, I know in past years, they've done a terrific job. You couldn't even go down and watch a ball game unless they went down and took care of the mosquitoes.
But they do have provision for people that may be sensitive to the
Oh, yeah,
chemicals, that
yeah.
they can be exempted. Yeah, good
Is
point.
town hall gonna be
Good
off
point.
limits on the 8th?
No, we can take anything.
Yeah. As long as they don't
Special
spray
town
us.
meeting. The special town meeting?
They're the biggest bugs of all. We should
Yeah.
get sprayed.
Well, actually, if people want to get away from the spraying, they could come to the town hall that day.
Town meeting.
We'll have a quorum for town meeting, good point, Bob.
Okay, there were 2 letters in the packet. Continental Cable.
Okay, just 2 notices from Continental Cable that were sent to the Board of Selectmen. Just notifying the board as well as the townspeople that through June 8th, cable subscribers may experience minimum interference on some satellite channels resulting from adjustments being made in orbiting satellites. Channels of TBS, CNN, ESPN, HBO, Cinemax, Arts and Entertainment, Nashville Network, Movie Channel, Showtime, and Disney Channel. And so the owners of satellites are making these moves to prepare for the launch of new satellites as existing satellites near the end of their life. It's being done gradually over a long period of time, so interference to customers should be minor. Any questions or disruptions or interference could be addressed through the Continental Cable office. And the other letter sent to Mr. Coyne, Chairman of the Board of Selectmen. You've read in the newspaper recently, the FCC adopted a new standard defining which cable systems are subject to price regulation. I'm closing a copy of the FCC announcement. The new standard provides that prices will be regulated where viewers in a community receive less than 6 unduplicated off-air television signals. This doubles the previous standard of 3 available signals. Our system in Clinton meets this new, tougher standard for deregulation. Since 6 or more broadcast television signals are available off-air, these signals, especially in combination with VCRs, do provide competition to our service. We are Continental very aware of the fact that we must continue to provide good programming and good customer service at a reasonable price in order to satisfy the customers. If you have any questions about this rulemaking, please feel free to call me. Signed, Paul Cronin, General Manager of Continental Cable. It's a very lengthy press release from the FCC, so I won't go into that, but... So, okay.
The next, I want to discuss, again, the 2 letters. One was a packet sent from the Mass Water Resources Authority concerning the revised Clinton user charge document. And the letter that has to do with it is from Daniel Greenbaum to Representative Constantino concerning Representative Constantino's bringing an issue to the Commissioner on the user charges of the MWRA. It looks as though the letter may have helped because the MWRA did revise their user charge. It's still not, it's still a lot of money, but they did revise it downward. The annual charges to Clinton would be approximately $1.3 million. I remember the original proposal was $1.9 to $2 million.
I think our latest proposal was 2.2, I believe, was our latest estimate of cost for the next operating year.
So they have revised it to 26th, will be presented to the Mass Water Resources Board of Directors for approval. One thing that this package of information does is it brings up once again the issue of the user charge. This user charge system for the plant and what the town's responsibility is and what should be done in the future. And I think again, as we talked about before, we have to get together and decide what direction the town is going.
I thought we agreed on that
She said at the time.
weeks ago.
Next board meeting, 5 years time, set a time, off night, sit down with town council and discuss what we'd like to do. One way or another, they're gonna wanna see a fee system, how it works, I don't know. Maybe something like that, sit down with Public Works as well as the MWRA to decide upon. And it's something that we have to do under the statute, and the big question is, does the money stay in Clinton or the MWRA try to take it? And that's something we have to first. It's not the MWRA, it's not only the MWRA we are fighting this, it's also the Environmental Protection Agency, so. In order for any grant money to be given to complete the plants and the plant to go online, we're gonna have to really working towards either complying with the Chapter 307 of the Act of 1987 or doing anything and take our chances with the lawsuit. Those are basically the alternatives we have.
But I think there is a lot of issues and complex issues which all need to be addressed in order to come to a final resolve, but we are going to have to come to terms with where we're going to go with this.
Rich, I went to the meeting that they had in Lancaster, and I don't have the information with me, and I haven't had a chance really to read this packet even though I listened. I'm still of the opinion that Clinton won't have to pay anything based on what was told to me by the lady from the MWRA when I was there that night.
Right.
Now, I have that information, but I
And-
To be paid to.
That's right. That's, again, that's never the case, but whether we have to pay anything to the MWRA or not, we are gonna have to have some type of user charge in place that reflects the cost of operation and maintenance of that plant. That's what EPA wants to see. So,
this is
we
in
have to set
addition
that.
to the sewer charge we currently
Right.
have. in the
Or
infrastructure.
we can maybe put it all together in one charge, but we have to do something to that effect, regardless if the MWRA gets the money or not. We are under the Act's chapter.
Which is federal guidelines
Right.
that has to be established.
We have to establish that, where the money goes, it most likely will stay in town, and I agree with that the MWRA will not get the money, and should not get the money, that's the state's obligation to take care of that. But we have to set up some type of structure, that is our obligation.
And where does the money go once the
Stay in
people
town.
pay it? Stays in town for what? What does it do?
Sewer improvements, so you can work it into the present system we have, and again, that's.
Will it cut the people's tax down?
You could
I
do
think
that
they're
too.
paying quite enough right now.
Those are the things you work out in the
Right.
system.
I think those are a lot
They
of
want to see a
questions
structure,
that
how that
have to
structure
be
is,
talked about.
what we do with the money will be up to the town, it's just a matter of getting a structure in place to reflect the operation and maintenance of that plant, that's something we have to get done. That's, it's a very complicated issue, and I think the MWRA, because the state's the negative one paying them through the budget, is trying to get that money
If
through the
it's this
structure.
complicated now with all these learned gentlemen running around, how come it wasn't so complicated when they took all the land in the first place and put the dam up? Wasn't it complicated then either? I know, but it's not right.
Rich, I think what we have to get is the data that we currently have for fees that we're paying under the sewage fee system now, and what it's actually costing us. To get together with the water commission would be Gilmore, evidently, along with Mr. Conley, and come up with the definitive answer we need to set this in place. We may come up with something that says we should, sewer fees that we currently have are too high. It could go the other way too. I mean, they are coming down, and at least they're going in the right direction. We tell them what their costs are for the, that they want to allocate to the towns, Lancaster included, is coming down, and we may find it likewise. So that has to be addressed, and I think it should be a joint effort.
But I think that there's going to have to be a lot of people involved, that's what you said. This is an EPA requirement, so we have to satisfy them, we have to satisfy ourselves and the state and everyone. So I think it's going to need a lot of work to
What's important,
get something, everyone together.
and what's important about us, the sewer fee that we're charging right now, again, is separate from the fee that the MWRA and EPA is talking about. The fee that we're charging right now, the town, through administrative order, under the state DEP, was forced to come up with that structure. And that is a town fee, and the state and town for our own sewer, to offset our own sewer costs, and that's something we're talking about.
I don't think so. He was originally, Billy mentioned it, this, we had to have that to get the grants, to get this thing started and everything else. So that's part of where the MWRA was involved at that time.
I understand differently that your aid is to fee for the operation and maintenance of the plant. That structure is what they need for the grants and reimbursements from the federal government to the MWRA. If they want to see some type of structure for Clinton and Lancaster, the the administrative order that came in 1985, from DEP was separate, and nothing to do with the plan, had to do with the town's own problems within their own sewer system. And there were certain corrections we had to make,
Which we did.
and we did. And
Through the,
one of them was to create a sewer user fee to encourage conservation, encourage
We did it to get the
improvements to the system. And they are separate, but that doesn't really.
I think we need somebody that's got some intelligence, because the folder I have on the MWRA now is bigger than what we have, I have at home for the minutes. I mean, it's pretty thick, and I can't even understand and interpret it. We need help on this, I mean,
yeah, I think that's what you're saying. I mean, there's a long history here, and there's a lot of players here, and I think he's just saying we need to start getting together ourselves to see what we're gonna do. To say, are we gonna address it and get everyone together and try to do something, or are we just gonna let it slide like we're gonna do?
No, you can't let it slide.
Yeah.
You gotta get enough of other towns to come in and help us.
Sure.
Boylston's in the same boat, so's Lancaster, so's eventually Sterling will be. And unless we get all the districts in, all the way up, from 128 up. What the hell, we wanna clean Boston Harbor for, did we ever use it? It's ridiculous.
And as just a follow-up to that, just to mention this letter from Senator Robert Durand, which was sent to the board in response to a letter that we wrote in support of House Bill 5529, filed by Representative Constantino and other members, which would allow the communities of the Quabbin, Ware, and Wachusett watersheds to appoint, to give recommendations to have the governor appoint a person from those areas to the MWRA Board of Directors. And the letter from Senator Duran, he takes input, our information, and he urges that our board write to all the members of the Natural Resources Committee, and perhaps anyone watching tonight in town or in the area that would like to write to the Committee on Natural Resources at the State House to show their support for House Bill 5529, which would increase the number of the Board of Directors of MWRA, that they'd be more than welcome from me to do so, which would give someone from this area a direct seat on the say in what's happening down there in Boston for the WRA.
this goes for our, following up on you, to our friends in Sterling, Lancaster.
Right. The only
Berlin,
hope we got is
To
the other
revitalize.
people.
Right, yeah.
Boylston, all the people.
It's criminal what they're trying to do.
Any of those letters could be addressed to Senator Robert Durand, who's the local from Marlboro.
Yeah, he's a good man too.
Committee on Natural Resources, State House, Boston, Mass. 02133.
And I think we also want to send a letter to Senator Arthur Chase, who certainly bends over backwards to help, do anything he could to help us.
Because there are two letters from DPW in the back of one is breakdown of the costs incurred in the demolition of the property.
You going along, Mr. Woodrow?
Yeah.
See you later.
Good night.
Total cost of the demolition of the property was $5,555. Copy was sent to the tax collector. And, the process will begin to win on the property, so the town will come.
I'll make a recommendation or a motion that we accept Mr. Gilmore's letter.
Send it to the tax collector.
Second. Motion made by Mr. Bates, second by Mr. Champagne, to accept these costs and to send this to tax collector. All in favor? Aye. Unanimous. Opposed? Yeah. We got a letter from Superintendent Gilmore to Board of Selectmen. Department of Public Works requesting the board's opinion on proposed dry fire hydrant proposal submitted by Mr. Will Sherwood, 171 Rowley Hill Road in Sterling. This proposed hydrant will be located on Mr. Sherwood's property. It would connect into the Fitch Basin and be used for fire emergency only. If a favorable decision is reached by your board, I would highly recommend that the agreement be renewed yearly and would be canceled immediately upon activation of this basin as a domestic water supply. Thank you for your consideration. William Gilmore, Superintendent of Public Works.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion, we grant Mr. Gilmore's request.
And I'll second it, John. The board has previously agreed to this,
Right,
and
Exactly.
I don't see any reason to wait.
Exactly. Motion made by Mr. Bates, seconded by Mr. Champagne to grant this proposal for a dry fire hydrant to Mr. Sherwood in Sterling. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Unanimous.
Okay, there's a monthly report, fire chief, in May.
We wanted to wait, I didn't go through it in detail, I'm sure there's no problem with it. Board, if they want to approve it or wait on
I
it.
didn't see anything wrong with it.
We've already approved, this is coming late. We'll send June's probably next week. Now I'll make a motion to accept the fire department.
I'll second it.
Motion made by Mr. Champagne, seconded by Mr. Bates to approve fire department monthly report for May 1991. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Unanimous.
Did the board approve the police chief's report from up in May last?
I believe.
I think we did.
Yeah.
If not, we'll approve it now.
I think we did, yeah, I think we did.
I think we did.
I'm pretty sure we did. Yep.
Okay, also there was a group of letters concerning the, not the mediation process with the fire department. That's all the information, and I'll have a copy of the answer.
That's
to
what
them.
I was wondering about, the request for that, and this came, that's
So that's your information. I'll get your copy of the answer to that. And finally, just two things. There's a letter for reappointment for the position of electrical wire inspector. Thank you, Cipriani. I don't want to wait and do all the reappointments at the same time.
You should,
Yeah.
you want to get a list of the ones.
Yeah, it'd be just as easy,
I'm gonna bring it for the
yeah.
next meeting.
Do we have them almost ready, or?
I'll get it ready for the next meeting.
Yeah,
We
get
have
all the
our
positions
appointments.
and all the
So you can see
names,
them all.
and we'll do it all at once.
How about the vacancies that are currently?
Yeah, all the committees and boards and everything, do all that. The letter, June 12th, Board of Selectmen. In these times, when most people don't have much good to say about municipalities, I thought it'd be nice to express my thanks and gratitude to the workers at Woodlawn Cemetery for the courtesies extended. They should also be commended for the conscientious job they do in keeping the cemetery in such fine condition. My husband and I visit 11 cemeteries over each Memorial Day period in Worcester County and North Shore areas, and at various times during the year. And for 30 years, we have always found Woodlawn to be kept in the neatest and best condition. This really means a lot to those of us who have loved ones at rest in the cemetery. The town of Clinton should indeed be proud of their cemetery department. Sincerely, Mrs. Barbara Tubbs from Hemlock 5 in Millbury, which is a very, very nice letter, and commending DPW employees, which definitely do tremendous
I
job.
think we should send a vote of thanks to Mrs. Tubbs for the way she expressed herself, and certainly, we here know above all the job that they've done down there. They've always done an excellent job. Cemeteries never look back, never.
Rich, did you send that down?
Joe O'Malley and that crew was beyond his, whoops, and with that, I think.
I'll make sure they get a copy.
Okay, thanks.
Unsafe chairs. My attorney's watching.
Gilmore is,
Yeah, you know.
Mr. Gilmore has submitted your signature, we request that he sends in to be reimbursed for the resurfacing this year. All the documents are signed, if you'd like to get the information, and the gentleman who deals with the retiring, so that to finish up all his work with him, with the Worcester
Yeah, it's
office.
easier to work with the one that he's
Right.
been working with because it makes sense.
There are a lot of documents to sign there, and we need original signatures on all of them, and
I
we
think-
submit them, we'll receive 75% of any resurfacing he does. Yeah,
In the past, only the chairman did, didn't he?
everybody,
Everybody did.
a lot of them there. Why don't you hold off on that, John, until I got something else that needs to be signed. Also, this is,
Do we need a motion for that, or just approval?
you can make a motion to approve.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we approve the submittal submitted by Mr. Gilmore.
I'll second.
What is it?
The road resurfacing.
Chapter 90 project request.
Request for reimbursement for road resurfacing, Chapter 90 program. Motion made by Mr. Bates, seconded by Mr. Champagne. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
We'll get the rest of the board's signatures.
Yes, everything that's sent out, pass on to the other two boards. Also, I have the second payment request for the library renovation project, the board's signature. Total payment is $32,881. The payment has been reviewed and approved by the architect. After the board review and it's approved, the payment will be made, submitted next week.
Don't the library trustees
No, the
have to
library-
sign this at
no,
all, or
they-
advise us, or
No.
anything?
Community development staff met with the library trustees, they're perfectly happy with the way things are going. Board of Selectmen is the awarding authority of the contracts, they sign off on the payments. Trustees said unless there's something, any change orders over $5,000, they'd like to be informed. Other than that, everything will be handled over here. And they have been involved in it, they've been given the opportunity to different colors and schemes on the whole project, so they haven't been in left in the dark.
Who verifies that this is in the budget and that the percent of completion of this?
The architect, town accountant certified the funds, and the architect oversees the work and make sure everything is done. He signed off on the work, percentage of work. And
Who's the architect on this?
the architectural firms, Wadsworth, Sanders Wadsworth Associates, and John Wadsworth, Furnace project.
They be the same as a corporate works or
No.
Every 2 weeks we have meetings at the library, we go over all the information, the library is on the schedule. It may be a minor delay, maybe a week, but we're waiting for Mass Electric to sign off on the electrical works, the elevator. Other than that, we're going along smoothly.
But this here is a invoice payment
Right.
of a bill due.
Right.
It's not the change order
No, I
request
have-
which we had received.
No, I had the change order that you signed last week for a total of $19,000. And I need the chairman's signature on one of the sheets, and June, I can get June to sign it, but I might keep it signed so I can see the work. The whole board signed off on it, but it's one page and it's the chairman's signature. Sign that. But that's for the regular project.
He was in favor of that, anyway.
Yeah, everybody was, they all signed it.
Yeah, okay.
Do we have a completion date for the renovation over there for the library?
I can get you the exact date, I don't want to say it off the top of my head.
Minutes is to be signed.
It's my company. Price is Tom's. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.
Should put acting.
I'll get the exact date for it.
Is it this year that's going to be?
Yeah, sometime
before the
fall.
end of the year? So it's,
The only thing, what holds them up is if they're moving along at a good pace, so they're holding up, the elevator takes 5 weeks. And before they hook up, before they can order the elevator, they need Mass Electric to sign off that there's sufficient power available to have an elevator. It's taken us 2 weeks just to get a hold of Mass Electric. The schedule is hoping to get that done this week.
speaking of Mass Electric, do we have them on a schedule? They're supposed to come in and see us
I'm gonna set them up on a schedule, full board here, and talk about
next
streetlights.
week? No, next week. We can't do
Try to
that.
get the next meeting.
Next meeting.
He's been in contact with Mass Electric. He's on vacation, and his information is supposed to be given me, and I haven't received it yet, so as soon as I get a hold of him, I'll schedule a meeting for him to come out.
Yeah, know, we could pave these streets ourselves quicker than sign all these papers.
Final item I have is on the insurance bids. I was hoping tonight to come up with a recommendation for award of the insurance, but it's been, the review of the bids is more complex. Definitely, I thought they would be.
I just want to point out for the board, we have here tonight Mr. John Brissette from Brayley and Wellington Insurance Company, who was going to sit on this discussion presentation that Richie was going to give. And I don't know if you met Bob Champagne, John, and John Bates.
How you do, sir?
Basically, the bids, I was happy with the bids. You can see from the bottom figure, the bids came in lower than the actual appropriation for the town. The one part of the insurance that I'm definitely sure of recommending is the workers' comp. The Mass Interlocal Insurance Agency, which is Maya, came in at the lowest bid at $133,814. They are a present carrier. They provide an excellent service, excellent benefits, excellent loss control program. I have had no problems with them in the past. Their bid is approximately $31,000 less than what we appropriated, so that is a significant savings to the town. And that I'd like to recommend, that insurance I'd like to recommend be awarded to them. The remaining insurance for the auto, property, and liability is won't be determined until tomorrow when I can talk to representatives from the protected group. The bids were interesting in the sense that Brayley and Wellington came in a package that for the property, auto, comprehensive liability, and excess liability package, portion of the package, they came in $28,000 lower than the protected group. The protected group for the remainder of the package, the rest of the liability portion of the package, police professional, ambulance attendants, school leaders, public officials, and police and fire accident. For that portion of the bid, they came in $20,000 less than Brayley and Wellington, and also they provided, from what I can tell from reviewing the bids, they came in with a superior proposal for coverage. From an overall standpoint, the difference in the bids, approximately $8,000. Brayley and Wellington was over $8,000. What I would like to try to do is possibility of a couple of things. One is, I talked to the Inspector General's office today and going around the thought of if I could, one, make Brayley and Wellington what they call the broker of record, which would be, they would get what bid. They would call the broker of record. They would use any of the proposals, any of the package, part of the package of the protected group that is advantageous to the town from a price standpoint, from a coverage standpoint. They would go in and get that coverage for us, saving us some money. The Inspector General's office has not said today that they weren't sure that that could be done legally. So I know it's been done in the past in other towns, but according to them, they are not aware of it and they think that it cannot be done. The other option would be to award Brayley and Wellington the property, auto, and comprehensive and excess liability portion of the package, and the remaining package award to the protected group, which would save the town a total of $37,000 less than what was appropriated, which would be significant savings. And the third alternative would be to award the whole package to one or the other, and not split it at all. And that would result in, if it went to Brayley and Wellington, the savings would be approximately $17,000 less than the appropriation, and for the protected group it would be approximately $8,000 less than the appropriation. So both have the savings, and these are things I'm aware of. Finish this up tomorrow and send out the recommendation to the tomorrow. Again, it's not just money I'm looking at, it's coverage. And provides the best coverage and the most responsible bidder. So tomorrow morning I'll have answers on possibility of splitting the bid as well as taking it back to trailer lawn.
Yeah, a couple questions for you, Rich.
Sure.
If we go with two different insurance companies right now, the savings really is about $37,000.
Right.
Which is quite substantial.
Right.
The other thing is, I don't seem to know any of these companies. These aren't local groups or anything. Where are these companies located?
Both Protect Group and Brandon Lawn are located in Worcester.
Worcester?
Mass Interlocal Insurance Agency, recommended workers' comp is located in Boston, they're part of the Mass Municipal Association. They're an insurance pool. Hastings and Taft have only been on certain portions of the package located in Cambridge. Again, this bid was advertised in newspapers and any insurance company with a local law. Throughout the state could bid on it, and we sent specs as far as cleansing people who are interested.
Did we advertise as a package as well as individually? Or?
Both. We had a right to reject any, all parts of the bids and accept whatever's in the best interest of the town. The problem isn't whether the town wants to accept them that way, it's whether the company will provide them the package that way. For instance, Brigham and Wellington will provide certain pieces of their proposal if they have lumped together with other portions of their proposal. Okay? The Protector Group may be the same way. They didn't specify that in the bid, but that's something I got to talk to them about. And the reason being is there's certain parts of the proposal that are more advantageous to the company than others. So in order to get one, they want the other. And that's why we did the overall. John, can you probably get to that a little bit?
You're doing good.
So those are the things I'm going to discuss. What would be best for the town is if I can split the bid and give, if Protector Group says yes, we'll take up the build portion, Brandon Wellington says yes, we'll take that. That's what I'm hoping for. I won't know that until I talk to the Protector Group tomorrow. I've been hoping today I could talk to them, but I don't know, we were dealing with the Blue Cross Blue Shield situation most of today, so I didn't get a chance to. So those are the items that, from the town standpoint, we can be very flexible. That's the way the bid was set up, and that's the way I wanted it set up, so it can be flexible because we don't want price to be the only driving force. We want the coverage to be the criteria for awarding the bid.
Well, if we're asking for coverage, you're coming in with a price. I mean, somebody else is coming in with a different type of coverage other than what we advertised at a lesser price?
Right. They could offer lesser coverage. And in some cases, that happens, they'll describe it, that's what we have proposal. And I don't know the insurance industry that well, but the way I understand it, when the specs go out, it's a scramble for the insurance agents to cover the market. Certain agents will block off certain companies in the market, and that does not enable another broker to get into that group. So, for instance, just using a company name, say Kemper offers an excellent liability coverage, and Protector Group beats Brandon Wellington to them. Now Brandon Wellington has with a lesser company, and that provides lesser quality coverage. And that's where we run into some problems of really looking at the proposal closely before you say, well, just because it's $2,000 less than the Protector Group offered, the Protector Group is actually offering more coverage per individual. So again, it's a very complex industry, and the only way that it was described to me is when the specs go out, it's a scramble. And they all scramble to get, they all know what companies they want, and whoever gets their first blocks off the market.
Who wrote the specs?
They came to the town. They were the same specs we used, Clinton,
You wrote the
yeah,
specs?
they were standard specs they used throughout the industry. I took a copy of specs that Brandon had seen before, and then Protector Group seen before, that Meyer has seen before, and I've taken the best of all the specs and put them together.
They were excellent bid specifications.
Everybody got a fair shot.
They were very fair shot.
Can you break that down for us? Showing the specs and showing the coverage, the limits, deductibility, and everything involved with each case, each scenario?
Actually, there's something together right here, but I just want to double check the mistakes.
Well, it should be between the whole board, should be covered in. It's just as good as
So that's where we're at with bid, insurance bid, and I do want to talk to the whole board, so that's really on where we stand. You'll probably get something from me before the end of the week, end of this week.
Good.
Doris Calvert's here, does he have anything to offer to us?
So he's just here as a juror, seeing what
If he has any
done.
questions.
Nice, Rich, I know there's a lot going into these bids for these insurance, and we've had our problems getting liability insurance on the coverage, and through Richie and past board, we were able to come up with the coverage,
It's a headache.
and now,
These are the bids.
We're
we're
going
I
on.
had no
Going through
idea
it
you
again.
were sitting here and you might be taking care of my back problem.
I said when I saw that.
so we'll wait for further information. So is there anything else you have, Rich?
The only thing is just two quick things. I went down to Webber Roseville today to tour the building and to see what progress has been made down there. I encourage all the board members, if they have the opportunity during the day down there, Perkins School and MCI Lancaster, approved from MCI Lancaster, they've done an excellent job down there. They've rented out the building. You can see you can see what a beautiful building, the building actually is, when the pegboard's taken down, because of the sunlight being blocked and the windows being opened up. Perkins School is set up first floor with petitions and restrooms and potential kitchen. And we're shooting for a date of September to move in people on the first floor, hopefully with council on aging.
Tell me, Rich, how's the money on this? Who gives us the money on this?
The Perkins School is paying for all the renovations right now, and the town is taking care of the demolition as far as getting rid of it. We provide the roll-off and sending it to Barry to be dumped. The Perkins School is putting most of it up. And hopefully it's the Council on Aging or any of the agencies that we do presently pay rent for get in there prior to the, say September or prior to the end of the fiscal year, any money they may have in their budgets that normally would go to rent, we could help make some renovations. Also, Community Development Office, so we put some money towards the building to help restore the historical integrity of the building. We're targeting the outside of the building, it's black and white paint, and we're hoping to remove that and restore the brick. And that's something under our grant guidelines for downtown renovation money we have. Also, we're going to be applying for a grant in the upcoming small cities portion of the application that comes out this time for social services portion of the grant to fund renovations of the building. So we're targeting all different areas. Anybody that has potential of renting or using space in the building, they have access to the money we're going after. So everybody's
That same kind of money couldn't be used at the Corcoran School.
No.
Couldn't.
Because well, Perkins School, of course, they money is going towards the building, they own the building now.
They
The
bought
money
the
we're talking-
building from Weber and Rose?
What we donated to them. They donated to them about $1,000.
Donated it to the Perkins School.
And the Perkins School felt that they wanted to give something back to the town of Clinton and share the building in some areas. The proposal is to do all the social services that the town has in the building. I think it's a great concept, and the building has great potential. From what I'm seeing so far, done an excellent job. But the money that we're targeting down there, it's small blocks of money. And it's not a whole block of money that we just put into the building. It's coming from different areas, and it wouldn't be enough for the Perkins School. The Weber Rose building is a different shape than the Perkins School. The Perkins School is not the Perkins School, the Corcoran School. It's in a different type of structural shape, so the work we're doing, they're doing the Weber Rose is basically, it was occupied already.
I understand that.
I'd like to take a look at it myself to see what's happening and appreciate the services of the MCI, Lancaster, and Perkins for really giving us potential of having some use down there for the town.
It's been an excellent job. It's been
This
great.
could certainly save some of those commissions and council on aging. We, a lot of places, a lot of rent money that they're currently paying for the next fiscal year, maybe.
Shot in the adjourn to the part of High Street down there.
Are they open down there Saturday at all, Rich, or?
They could be working down there, but they've given me a key, and if any board members wish to go down, I can provide them a key down. Take it to work. Just let me know.
Okay.
Even sometime during the evening, I can meet you working early morning. I can meet you for work, if you want to take a tour of it.
Good. You set something up. Anything else? No? Any of the other members have anything to bring up before the board?
No, I would like to bring up before the board, it being after 20 minutes of 9, and I make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll second that motion, Mr. Bates.
Motion made by Mr. Bates, second by Mr. Champagne. We adjourn this meeting at 8:30, or 8:42 PM. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. This is the other thing we had to sign
John,
Coming?
always a
pleasure, Mr.
Ward.
Bob Champagne, John Brissette, William Wellington, John Bates.
Hey, how are you? Good to see you.
What would, how are you married? Their initials are Tenamore.
Yeah, I'll look at the law. This reads as this. 100 more registered voters for 1% of total. Used to vote whichever one.
Where highways.
Oh, yeah, that was wrong.
Now,
No, I put photo on, you know.
the one with the
Congratulations.
the highway.
How you doing?
Yeah, no, but the thing with the
Good job. We're all set. You can just leave the camera on for a while. Just want to let everybody clear out of the room before we start taking the cables up, because we might trip some people.
My middle initial.
Doesn't anybody?
No, you can leave it on, just for
Board of
now.
Health working on it. Can
Just take a break.
Please, Board of Health.
Winston, what am I gonna see?
You know who did it?
What's the name of there? What did you call it?
Here's the bids. And you'll see that everyone gets these, Rich.
Oh. I was gonna say, it was a personal call where Gary has
You read the letter, John?
No, what's the number?
It said, wine and bubble, Jimmy, I didn't like the headline. You said first person?
Trash in the cemetery, is that?
The edit, letter from
I found tomorrow. I'm gonna be in, I'm going to leave there at 11 tomorrow.
Oh, gee.
I'll be very real. Alright, see you later.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Just those ones that you really enjoy a copy of Chief
Exactly.
Now you'll see that these get all these, that's for the earth removal permit.
Yeah.
Conservation, fire chief, police
That's what
chief.
I like.
Yeah. Winston,
What was some of the
that's right, I forgot to call one of them, nothing major. No decision needs to be made. Over there sitting in the box, Bob, Mike, over there sitting in the box, that is the environmental impact report from Resource Control. That's the first step in bringing these private landfill, possibly their environmental.
This whole thing?
Yep, they're not set, each book isn't an environmental impact report. All the books combined is the environmental impact report. So the process has started.
Now this is ours, so you'll hold on to this, right? So the other members can look at it.
No, it's fine, but I probably lost it. It's fine.
Sir, you're gonna cut your hours down to about 60 now that you have
Sunday each thing?
Getting a little tired.
Do you have your pen? They have a pencil today, I don't understand.
That's the one with,
You tried to get it.
oh, is that the one with the fine?
I'm gonna find out now, they must have gone through that and found some names.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
That's all you gotta do, that's all I got, I'm on my land, town.
Was I gonna say Mike? You have to worry about charge, actual contract.
$21 a little.
As far as charging for people, only Mary O'Brien's time is more money.
Sure.
You took it from me, bro. They continue on. They're, good check.
The air conditioners up there, and they want these drapes on the floors, you can't have more. Somebody's
Please stop that.
Who was working?
They do a good job.
I think
We're not really
Scared
there
people
yet.
don't get here. They don't tell them we're sitting waiting for.
That's a Worcester too.
Oh, my God, yeah. Once they're finished working on them, they leave.
I want to go back to those days.
So is that where you're from, Worcester?
Michael, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
You guys are sitting here right now doing all this business, why do you do it during the
Firehouse.
That was an oversight on my part, that we were gonna stay open to sign these, and then we adjourned, and I forgot about the warrant. I don't know if you want to reopen the meeting again to go through it again. Reopen the meeting to do this business.
Sign them and, that's.
See, I've already signed them.
We never waited to adjourn after.
I got a quorum here now, 3 of them.
We'll just officially reconvene the meeting, call to order, so we can sign the vouchers. And just note that in the minutes that we
We can do
reconvene.
the tenants at 9.
It's 9 to sign vouchers and the grants. We'll adjourn again. Oh, sure. Okay. Okay. Did you get all the other stuff okay?
Rich, can we have a copy of all this too? Not now, maybe next week or something?